Welcome to our new series, The 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
But Soto, you mentioned the Oscars this past week. You actually watched the Oscars. I
Yeah.
didn't. We're not going to get
Okay.
into
Well. Let me give a disclaimer here. Oh, okay.
Okay,
I did watch the Oscars.
you did.
It did. I also was inebriated
Yeah.
during the Oscars. I may have fallen asleep during parts of it. But I woke up during important parts. So yeah, I saw the Oscars and I was kind of there, but I was kind of drunk.
All right, but either way,
Full disclosure.
you planned on seeing it. I didn't plan on seeing it. But as this week
Yeah.
was going on, it made me think of something I thought about doing in the past. And I know I'm not going to go through everything, but Soto, my first movie, I went back to 1927 and watched the very first movie to ever win Best Picture. I'm talking about a
God.
silent film named Wings. 1927. This is officially the oldest movie. I had a look on Letterboxd. Officially the oldest movie I have ever seen. This is older than Steamboat Willie, which I know is only a 5 or 6 minute short, but I still clicked on that shit.
I
Yeah.
feel like I know this.
So yeah, because before I get into the movie Wings, I did collect a lot of Best Picture winners, and I stopped probably around 2013, 2014. I don't own them all, but I'm like, I kind of want to watch every Best Picture in order. I'm not going to do that. I might do a couple more this year for the
What
fun of
the
it.
hell, man?
I know there's a lot of shit ones, and a lot of ones I've seen and loved, but I'm like, I just need to know why this movie won Best Picture. Now, so there's a lot to this, and if you don't know, I mean, not like everyone's gonna know what the fuck the movie Wings is about. Obviously,
No idea.
No, it is 2.5 hours. So I was like, can I get through this? That was a good question for me. Like, I am going to do this, but it's a World War I movie, and obviously for its time, and there's a lot of things I'm going to say. You're like, hey, I kind of know. I've heard about these kind of stories before, because again, the war tropes and stuff like that. I'm not going to say it's started on this, but there's a lot of things you're going to recognize has happened in a lot of different war movies. So first things first, Soto, it is on Tubi. So I was like, all right, I'm going to watch it on Tubi.
That explains it.
Yeah, well, I also own it. Now, I'm gonna
Oh, yeah,
mention
that's
some.
right.
I do because they restored it back in like 2012 or something like that, and I'm gonna get back to that in a moment, and you'll understand why. But yeah, so it is a silent film. It is black and white. Basically, it stars a small town. This guy Jack. He's the small town. He wants to fight in the war. He wants to fly the planes. He wants to be a pilot. He wants all the fame and glory. And so he's going to enlist. And also in the small town is this guy David, who's from the wealthiest family. So he wants to enlist too. So these two obviously start kind of they're kind of, I don't want to say enemies, but they don't like each other. Because they both want to be the best. And there's also so they become friends as the time goes on because they both enlist. They have this huge boxing match, and then they kind of respect each other. They're like, okay, we both like certain things together. Sorry, I know that doesn't make sense, but you know how it is. Two guys who don't like each other find a common ground, and then they like each other and become best friends.
Sure, yeah.
They both like the same girl. Now the main guy Jack thinks this girl Sylvia likes him. But her heart's with David. So again, now you got that love triangle. Except now there's this other girl, small town girl Mary, who has eyes for Jack. So there's all this love going on. So yeah, the story was actually pretty interesting. But I will tell you what took me out of this movie, Soto. Now, there's no sound effects in this, and they recycle the same music every 12 to 13 minutes. And it's all this.
God.
It's a good musical score, but then it's just too upbeat. Come to find out, I think if I would have watched my DVD, I would have seen the restoration of added sound effects and music. Because when scenes are being serious, you kind of want to change the pace of music, but yes, it was the same. I think I timed it, with my clock. I was just looking 12 to 13 music. Minutes. It would end and then go again. And it's this upbeat. And every time it started, I kind of jokingly would start bopping my head, but Soto, it took me out of the movie. That being said, everything else about this movie, this is probably the first silent movie I think I've seen. Mm-hmm. It's actually a pretty good movie for what it is. You gotta take the fact that when it was made, the flight scenes were well done for 1927. They actually had an aerial camera, like they had some stunt pilots, I guess. I kind of was reading up on this, and they would put it in the front of the cockpit, so that's how they got some of these, what they call amazing shots, which I don't know if they're amazing, but again, I think about 1927.
Sure. Yeah.
So, yeah, second half, there's an intermission. The intermission came up, so I had to laugh my ass off. It was like a 2-minute intermission. I don't know if they cut that, but like it popped up on my screen. I'm like, wait, do I just go to the bathroom now? What do I do? The second half, it got a lot better when they kind of got into the war more and got into the story. But I was reading up. There is some interesting things. This is the first movie that had nudity. First movie that got like feature release. Full on movie. Movie studio release. And it was very brief. It was very brief. I wasn't even sure it happened because the girl next door, is trying to save Jack, because they're like, all pilots need to come back. They think they're on leave, and he's just drunk off his ass. And she's trying to get him to go. He's passed out on the bed, but then that's when she finds out he likes someone else. And she's just going to leave, rip up the letter, but she puts the letter aside. She changes back into her uniform, but as she does, the military police come in. So it looks like she had sex with him. And because of that, she got sent home. But they let him kind of go back. And he has no idea. He had no idea this happened because he was drunk off his ass. So, yeah. So as she was changing, it was so brief. I'm like, wait, was that what I thought it was? I didn't really care to rewind it. But as I was reading, yes, it was. I'm like, oh, okay. Second, this also, from what I found out, had the first, though it's not gay kiss, a man-on-man kiss. Because, yeah, these two guys become best friends. And what happens is, as they're, one of the final battles, and I'm going to go to the end on this because I don't want to really get into it too much. David gets shot down behind enemy lines. Everyone's firing at him. He kind of swims away, so everyone thinks he's dead. The Germans send notice that they killed, this pilot. And Jack is so pissed that they killed his best friend that he gets in the plane during this war. He's going, like, basically Top Gun Maverick crazy, just trying to take down everyone. And he's going back to the base. Now, in this time, David's not dead. He steals an enemy plane, and he's heading back to the base. Jack sees this, and Jack shoots down David. He obviously somehow survives the plane crash because story reasons. And then, he's like, I'm sorry I didn't know it was you. You're my brother. And then he kind of gives him a kiss before he dies. So, I guess from what I read, that was the first male-on-male kiss. So, I'm sorry, what?
Did he kiss him on the lips? Or?
Yes. But it didn't come out. As I'm watching it, it doesn't come off as homosexual. But in that time, yeah, they said it was you could tell it was a friendship kiss. Like, he loved him as a brother.
Bro kiss.
Yeah, so it was as much of a bro kiss as can be. But so I'll be honest, I did enjoy this for what it was. I will say that I will not watch this again. Though I am now intrigued to find out that there's actual music sound effects to this restoration, so maybe. But the story was actually pretty good. Him being drunk was freaking hilarious. A lot of these actors and actresses are really good. But, yeah, 2.5 hours listening to the same music every 12 minutes.
Good Lord.
Really wore me
hours.
Fuck out. But if it wasn't for the music, Soto, like if... and I don't know much history about, silent films. If it wasn't for the music, like if they changed the music for the scenes, I don't even care about the sound effects. But yeah, like, during the, dancing scenes, they're upbeat. During the intense, like if they would have changed the music, I probably would put this higher on my list. But I think this is the original way to watch it, so I'm kind of glad I did. But man, it took a toll on me after a while. Like, it was stuck in my head, and I'm like, this shouldn't be happening. But I can respect a lot of the shots they did, the cinematography for that time again, with the aerial pilots. It was amazing what they did. So I did like it. I'm not going to say this is high up on my list, but it is kind of at number 14, right under Terrifier. So it's like I said, it's not a bad movie. It's just not a movie I am going to watch again. I'm going to say that right now. But
I don't even like movies that have words in it that last that long.
I know. But I had to see it. I had to know why this movie won Best Picture. And I come to find out there was only 3 movies nominated that year. Like, that's how it started off. Like, there's like 10 categories. I guess this also won like Best Engineering something effects, which I don't know what that was. Maybe Best Sound Effects that turned into. But yeah, so like I said, the love story you see typically in a lot of war movies, love triangles or love squares, whatever you want to call it. Overall, like I said, it wasn't bad. I just think the music took me out of this so much. So, but yeah,
especially after watching modern movies your whole life, and then you're watching this where the music repeats over and over. I've said it before. Most people can deal with bad movies, movies looking bad, but it's tough when a movie doesn't sound great. I don't know if I could watch a movie like that for 2.5 hours. I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to do it again. I was just more mad at the fact that I saw that they had versions with, like, the music. They added not just sound effects, but music to it. And it goes with the scenes. And I'm like, I probably would have enjoyed it more. But in a way, I think this was the original one. Because, back in that time, you just got that piano player just going at it. But yeah, it took its toll. So it's higher up than it probably should be because of the music. But like I said, the story was there for its time. It's there. And if you're a huge film fan, you want to get to film history, definitely watch it. But yeah, you're not going to watch it again. Like I said, it was 2.5 hours. I was a little worried after like 15, 20 minutes, but it started getting good. And like I said, the main actress, though, she, it's 2 main guys, but the main one, she was really good in this too. Like, I think she carried this film. But that was the weird thing about silent films too, because there's no dialogue. So they had to do a little bit over dramatic expressions with their faces and everything else. So, like, you could tell what's going on, even though the dialogue's not there. But so I will say this. This might be a teaser. This might not be the last silent film I watched this year. I think I might be doing one more. Because I'm curious. Well, here's the thing. If you remember back in 2012, the movie The Artist, I never saw that. And that's a silent film outside of, like, I think
it is
one line. I don't know too much about it. I don't know too.
Well, you're gonna probably find that it's a lot more. The sound
modern.
is probably a lot better.
So I kind of want to see how they went from 1927. This movie's almost 100 years old, which is crazy to think. But yes, I know it's not your definition, but it's funny. Tubi like suggested a few, other silent films of that era because I watched it, and then I'm seeing Charlie Chaplin, a Sherlock Holmes thing. I'm like, all right, I don't know if I'm going to get to that. I don't know if I'll put myself through that again. But I do, because I'm going on this Best Picture kick, maybe I might see The Artist. I don't know, but I might, so. But
yeah,
yes.
I was looking at the last, 5 Oscar winners. I have no idea what they are. Because they were going over the last 5. Actually, yeah, Oscar winners going back to 2018. It was shocking how many I have not seen. And how many that I had not even heard about. And we'll get to that list at a different time, but I'll probably try to go. For me, I'm trying to find out the shit that I haven't been watching recently. Obviously, I know with Lawrence Arabia, I've been trying to watch Lawrence Arabia since I was probably 21 years old. So that was nice to get off the thing, but I don't know, silent films.
It was
brave,
definitely,
man.
It was, and I wanted to take that chance. I was willing to, but yeah, like I said, the movie is good for what it is and for its time. But the music, and again, just took me out of it. So it was tough. But like I said, just the people, the acting, everything else was good, and that's why I can't really fault it. But yeah, it was brutal for 2.5 hours. After the intermission, and the film reel change, because that was kind of flipping me out too, because they actually had to show, the change in so the movie kind of paused, and I'm like, what's going on? But the music kept going, so I was actually confused for a second. Then you see that film burn, and then it goes. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, because this is so fucking old. It's the only way they can record this shit. So it was hilarious, but yes. It was good, and this might change, go up one, go down one as I think about it. But I kind of like where it's at because, like I said, a lot of it was good. Just the music was horrible.